Shots fired. What's the location? 41st Street. Shots fired. 23rd Street. 23rd Street. One unit at 23rd Street. What's the location?
It has been a little over 1.5 years since our last development blog, but now it's time to welcome you back into the world of SP Blackout. Hello everyone, I am Hadi Masalha, the creative director for Blackout Innovations. Welcome to our second devlog on this project. We're excited to share with you what we have been working on over the past 1.5 years. We're also splitting a lot of the content shown in devlogs into multiple devlogs depending on our content releases, just so that we don't spoil things before they're officially released. So, what have we been working on, you might ask? Let's start with a demo that's releasing very soon. This demo isn't just a showcase of our technology, it's part of the story. It's based on Act 0 of the campaign. So, pay close attention to everything happening because it will matter in later acts. The real purpose of Act 0 is to set the tone and feel for the game, while teaching the player the controls. But it also has some very important connections to the rest of the story. Now, I'm going to leave you with our technical director and lead engineer to talk about the technical side of what we've been working on.
Hello everyone, I'm Richard Vitus, the technical director and lead engineer for Blackout Innovations, and I'm gonna talk about a few systems we've been working on and how they impact the SCP Blackout experience. Since the last devlog, we have decided to completely rewrite the whole game, meaning that we're starting from fresh. The reason why I've decided on this is because the old game was very badly maintained and we'd like to future-proof our code for easier implementations of new updates and fixes, as well as deliver a higher overall quality experience. The first thing I've decided to code for the rewrite is the gun system. The new gun system comes with a bunch of new features such as bullet physics, wall penetration, gun editor, gore, better VFX, and a lot more. When shooting a gun, the bullet will have realistic physics applied to it and travel in real time. This means factors such as gravity and wind will affect the bullet's trajectory. Bullets now have the ability to penetrate certain objects like thin walls or stop if the wall is too thick to pass through. Bullets can also ricochet off the wall in certain situations. This is all possible to the new casting system that me and Enum wrote and is open source as of now. Kichiru has made new HUD UI for the gun system. Now the HUD is semi-3D and reacts to the player's camera movement. We've also added equipment section for the UI, so now you can see how much grenades or medical items you have. A lot of visual improvements have been also added to guns, with models, animations, and VFX. Guns now have new equip animations and unequip animations. Guns now also drop casings when fired, as well as the fire VFX has been drastically improved as seen here. Tracers have been also improved, making them easier to see. Lastly, I've coded a gun editor for the gun system which allows players to customize their guns to their liking. Attachments such as lasers, silencers, grips, and more are all available to add or remove to the guns in the game. However, this feature is not coming to the demo as there is still a good bit to be added to make it release ready. This is it for the gun system segment. There's still a lot of other features that have been added, like quality of life changes, that have not been talked about. Now we're gonna move on to the new movement system. Me and Eno made a whole new movement system featuring new features like 4-directional movement animations, player velocity, leaning, and inverse kinematics. Now let's go into depth with these new features. 4-directional movement makes it so that there are animations for moving in the directions front, left, right, and backwards, making it a lot more immersive. When running and turning, the player's torso will lean into that direction. We've also added inverse kinematics when the player is standing still. This makes it so that the player's feet will be actually planted onto something instead of floating. This is it for the movement system, but there are a lot of more features that are planned to be added, like 8 directional movement animations, stopping animations, taking cover, and a lot more. Now for the last part of the rewrite. K3 designed a new main menu for the game, which is much better compared to the previous one. And now you can change a lot of settings to make the game fit better to your desired experience. There are a lot of graphical settings that have been added for lower end devices. That's all for me now. Now for Element.
Hello everybody, my online username is Element Anomaly, but I go by Element for short, and I'm one of the writers here at Blackout Innovations. I'm here to represent the writing team, and I'm going to go over a few things about the story we're creating. However, I'd just like to start by saying that I think it's really unique how the writing team and all of the dev team in general has been working together over the past few months, really trying to craft the perfect story to play. The dialogue is one of the most complex things we've done so far, if you were to ask me, simply because of the amount of steps. It's been a real challenge for us to make everything seem natural in terms of the words. We let the voice actors handle the emotion, mainly because we get yelled at if we show emotion on the clock. We really have to dive into our characters and think how they would think. How would this character's name say it, or that character's name say it? It gets us really connected to our characters when we think about this kind of stuff and how they would act based on their stories. And with that said, I will return you to our creative director, who will expand upon the game and what he does here.
Thanks Richard, and thanks Element. As the creative director, my role is to keep everything from the systems to the sounds to the writing aligned to our vision becomes a reality. When you sit down and play, we want everything to feel like one world. Nothing serves just the gameplay or just the story. It all has to serve both. Act 0 is small compared to the rest of the story, but I'd argue it's one of the most important parts of the game. It's the first time you step into the world of Blackout, and it sets the tone for everything that comes after. Now to the philosophy behind SP Blackout, it's that every choice and every moment matters. The game should build an emotional connection between you and the story. It's not just for fun. It's also meant to send a message through the experience. For the multiplayer, I don't believe in doing it the same way other games do. My take is simple. If the game allows you to do something, then you should be able to do it. There should be no in-game rules forcing you to roleplay. That has to come naturally. In Blackout, if you go rogue as a Foundation member, nothing stops you but the game itself. The game will punish you and not reward you for it. That way, it's still an option, but it's not the smart one. You're still roleplaying your character, but you're also shaping your own story in multiplayer. Now I think that's enough for this devlog. This is only the start. Thank you all for the amazing support through the game's development. Without you, this would not be possible. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, and until next time, goodbye.